Open wide for some football. A Wednesday night party. You know it's gotta be a sport to do because there's none on TV. You got the hits, the misses, and everything in between. Oh, my lordy friends, it is a Wednesday night. Yeah, no baseball on our screen, no football on our screen, no basketball or hockey. It's so freaking boring. But hey, what the heck? I'll do a stupid thing. I'll do a big stream and make it Hobie Dick. And that is what I'll do. And that's what I say. Hey, hey, hey. It's just one day till Christmas Day. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to a Cutter live stream. And it is Christmas Eve, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on December 24th, 2025. I figured I might as well do something because of being tonight being boring, boring, boring. Anyhow, so with no sports on tonight, so no one's getting like distracted or anything with anything and everything and all that is to be had. I figured, well, why not? I do it. I just do my stuff. With me being off today from work, I didn't have to work today, so I did my tapings of those 3 Christmas episodes of Cutter Top 10. Thankfully, I had the day off because if I didn't have the day off, I don't know when I would have been able to tape them. I probably would have had to tape them like tonight, in essence. But the fact of the matter is that, I did 3 Christmas themed episodes of Cutter Top 10, not sports related, mind you. So I did Top 10 Simpsons episodes from Simpsons Christmas episodes. I did top 10 Christmas movies and top 10 Christmas songs. I should have done top 10 Christmas carols because the 12 Days of Christmas definitely would have made it a number one on their list. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, Christmas Day I'll be spending over at my mom's, like in the afternoon and all that. Tomorrow morning I'm going to be taping a Christmas Day boxing thing. Um, yeah, I'll do title belt boxing because you get to search for things. So I'm going to try to get fighters with red, green, and um, white. Red, white, and green, the 3 colors of Christmas, and all that. I think I think I'll probably do a title card actually. Yeah, you know what? I'll do a fight card because it's 6 fights, and that would be best enough, and all that. You don't want to go through 2 hours of Christmas watching and all that. I think I did. I have to take a look at my stuff for title belt. I don't remember. No, yeah, I don't remember doing a Christmas fight card for anything. But did I? The Simpsons Christmas Guide. I thought I did something. Title belt. Yeah, let's see here. Did I do anything on Christmas Day or no? December 26th. Oh, I did Boxing Day. Well, doy. I did Boxing Day. So yeah, I'll probably be doing Legends of Boxing, boxing like a Boxing Day card and all that for Legends of Boxing, and then title belt will be just a Christmas Day thing to have people with the name red, white, and green, the 3 colors, and maybe some Chris's and all that. No, I'll try to do 2 fights with red, 2 with white, 2 with green. And if I need Chris, I'll use a Chris. But the fact of the matter is that yeah, did that. Taped a little bit of FIFA World Cup emulation for the Sega emulator and starting my round 2 stuff. Well, I taped it. What else did I tape today? Oh, I taped a Degrassi thing, a Degrassiism about the 3 Degrassi Christmas episodes. I'll probably upload that early and then just stagger my uploads or something like that. Because I know that there's a rule that you can only have so many uploads in a 24-hour period. So that's going to be hard pressed. But I know you're here for the football cards. So anyway, these are the 4 packs of cards I have, and all in the back. you'll see a seal. The seal that says Shoppers Drug Mart. This item is intended for sale at Shoppers Drug Mart. I found it for sale at another location. Please call blah, 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 blah. So basically, it's a protection thing. So yeah, my Shoppers Drug Mart close to my house was selling like football cards and all that. So I decided to take some cards. I really don't collect football cards as much as I do for hockey and baseball, or even basketball for that matter. But yeah, I'm gonna do some. Actually, to be truthful, I've got basketball cards I have to kind of go through. So yeah, I gotta go through my basketball cards. They keep being on top of my computer table. So anyway, yeah. So I'm gonna give you the basketball cards quickly. So there's a draft card of Jacoby Walter from the University of Baylor. He's been doing quite well for the Raptors past few years. Tarion Prince, former player for the Pistons, and all that. He's had a decent career. Good ball handler and all that. Max Strauss for Cleveland. This was him. He was pretty much everything you have. He was a good player too. The one thing I hate about these Panini cards, basketball cards, is they don't show what college he's from. These players are from. That's stupid. There's another Toronto card. It's Emmanuel Quickly, who was picked up from the Raptors in the trade that sent RJ Barrett back the other way. Or no, that sent RJ Barrett to Toronto, right? Yeah, and OG Anunoby went the other way. So yeah, Quickly doing pretty well for himself. De'Aaron Fox. What does the Fox say? So yeah, his card from Sacramento. A pretty good player. Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Hoops as they call him, pretty good player. Long time in the NBA for the Bulls and a few other teams. There. Julius Randle, former Knick and I think Sixer. But anyway, yeah. He went to Minnesota. Bradley Beal for Phoenix. He was a pretty good player in himself from Washington. Jaime Jaquez Jr., first team all rookie. I don't know where he came from. Yeah, it's like be cool what school they came from. Brandon Miller from the Hornets. This was his rookie campaign. Kyle Anderson, Mr. Anderson, former Minnesota player, now Golden State Warrior. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, you know the name and all that. The NBA is really going bonkers. They don't want him swapping jerseys with certain players because, it's inappropriate. Darius Garland, good player for Cleveland and all that. Benedict Mathurin, Canadian. So Benedict Mathurin, yeah, great player for the Pacers and part of the 25 run for the Pacers into the final against Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, fellow Canadian, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. Jonathan Kuminga, he's been putting on a breakthrough season. Kyrie Irving for Dallas at the time, Cleveland legend that was the hero in Game 7 of the 2016 championship, giving the Cavs the championship. Cam Whitmore for Houston. Damian Lillard, Dame Lillard, he was a Portland icon with 2 series-winning shots for Portland, and he left for Milwaukee, kind of title chasing. I think he's back with Portland, isn't he? Or he's somewhere else. Julian Straffer for Denver. Okay. Keegan Murray, decent player for the Kings. Tyler Smith, his rookie card for the Bucks. Cam Spencer. Rated rookie. And finally, Nikola Topic, who looks like a good player, but unfortunately Topic got injured and could not compete for Oklahoma City in his inaugural season, which would have been an NBA title for him. And worst of all for Topic is that he now has testicular cancer. So he's got to recover from that. Poor guy might not even play in the NBA. So, all right. So let's do some football cards. Exclusive Sunburst Parallels. I don't know what they're talking about. Okay, some cards are floating out. All right. One card's trying to get into my... All right. Do they have, they kind of have stats. All right. So first is a living legend of Peyton Manning and the Indianapolis Colts. Man, icon. 14 Pro Bowls, 5 MVPs, 2 Super Bowls, one with the Colts, one with the Broncos before retiring in the sunset. Super Bowl MVP and Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year. The Colts needed to make him big and all that because, you know, the Colts were floundering as a franchise. I mean, Jim Harbaugh was a good quarterback for the Colts that almost got them to the Super Bowl 30, and then they were just falling flat. Peyton wasn't a winner right off the bat. He had a terrible 3-13 season, if memory serves me right. And, you know, the Colts made some massive moves. They picked up Edgerrin James in that talent-heavy 1999 NFL draft. Got rid of Marshall Faulk, got him to the Rams, but no problem. Faulk got a championship ring. You know, Peyton won the championship with the Colts. Of course, he was in the shadow of Tom Brady, who came out of nowhere. And then he won the Super Bowl 50 in his last season. All right. First card is Jesse Bates III. Great safety for the Atlanta Hawks. Falcons. Well, he was a Bengal? I did not know that. Yeah, so Jesse Bates III. Prestige. Well, they don't say what position he is technically. Well, he's a safety on the card, but some cards, you know, you'll have the position and then you have the thing beside it. Next is Martin Emerson, fast emerging star for the Browns. He's a defensive player, I guess, because it says all his defense and all that. Should have given the Jesse Bates back card. My fault. See the back of Jesse Bates card. Next up is Jarrett Stidham card with the Denver Broncos. What a disaster he was. Good player for Auburn, but Stidham was basically passed around like a used Kleenex. So, yeah, I don't know where he is now, but Stidham really didn't work well for the Broncos. Next is Vonn Bell, former Bengal. This was former Panther, but now he went to Carolina, to Cincy. That's actually been a smart move because Vonn Bell is a pretty good player. That's signed by Bengals. Okay, next card is James Conner, the Ironhead for the Arizona Cardinals. He was pretty impressive. He played for the University of Pitt, and then the Steelers picked him up, and then now he's in Arizona and has done pretty well for themselves. He's a very underrated running back because, you know, the Cardinals are very overrated. Next is Mark Chimera, former star tight end with the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, prestige and all that. Great player and all that. Great tight end for the Packers in the 90s and all that. I think he was accused of accosting his kid's babysitter, but technically he didn't. But yeah, Chimera was a decent tight end. Next is Jaden Reed. You know, he had 8 touchdown catches for the Packers. It says the Steelers were thinking of him, but, you know, he's went there. Herman Moore, another legendary player for the Detroit Lions, a great wide receiver from the University of Virginia. In 1995, he had 123 catches, which was the NFL record at the time. So yeah, Herman Moore was a pretty good wide receiver for the Lions. The best Lions wide receiver in history after who else was a good Lions receiver? I would say Crazy Legs Hurst, but I'm wrong. I can't really think of any good Detroit wide receivers prior to 1990 and Herman Moore. He helped Virginia outdo decently and almost beat Georgia Tech to stay at number one. But the fact is that Herman Moore was a pretty good wide receiver, and he was, of course, the prototype for Calvin Megatron Johnson. Next up is Dante Culpepper, another great quarterback from UCF, Central Florida. 11th pick in the 1999 NFL Draft. Strangely was not the first quarterback selected. Philly selected Donovan McNabb, but Dante Culpepper was a pretty good quarterback for the Vikings and all that in the 2000s. He was good. He was on the cover of Madden one time, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, the Madden curse broke him. Next is T.J. Hawkinson, a tight end for the Minnesota Vikings. A pretty good player in his own self. A lot of people like him. Jalen Phillips, Miami Dolphins. He's a linebacker. I don't even remember him being a big part of anything, but that's his stats. Next is Jalen Waddle, another Jalen for the Dolphins. He was a pretty good receiver. Forget what school. I think he went to Bama. Yeah, Waddle went to Bama. He's been a good wide receiver for the Dolphins. They need those guys. Next, Roger McCreary of the Titans. He had an interception. All that for the Titans. You see him? See his stats? Next is Tony Pollard for the Tennessee Titans, another Titan. Another Tennessee kid. He went to the University of Tennessee. The Cowboys had him for a while, being a good running back. And he's now part of the Titans and all that. So, yeah. So, that's pretty impressive what he did. He was a Cowboy, now a Titan. Next is Anton Winfield Jr. His father, Anton Winfield, was a good player for the Buffalo Bills, among others. But, yeah, Winfield Jr. is a pretty good player. A lot of A's for him and all that. The Buccaneers really are lucky to have this guy. He's a pretty good ball hawk, if you will. Next is Rachaad White for the Bucks, almost a 1,000-yard runner in 2023. So he's a pretty good running back. Next is Boy Mafe. What a name, from the Seattle Seahawks. Secret superstar, young outside linebacker, as you can see by his card. Kenneth Walker III, another Seahawk. Good running back for the Seahawks. I think he's done well this year in 2025, I think. Of course, that's to be debated. Braylon Trice went for the University of Washington. Now he's a Falcon. I don't think I really know much about Trice. All that. Javon Solomon from the University of Troy. Being a sax machine and all that. Joined the Buffalo Bills. I don't think I've known about him. Next is another Kamari Lassiter, former Georgia tackle defensive guy. So Lassiter for the Texans now. See his stats and all that. Another draft card, Jalen Ford from the University of Texas. So we got him. Then a prestige of a Jesse Bates. Oh, a prestige. What's it called? Extra points prestige card. All that. The only problem is I already have a Jesse Bates card, in a sense. Next is another prestige. Juju Smith-Schuster when he was with the Pats. He played for Pittsburgh and then went to Kansas City, and then now new face for New England. So I don't think Smith-Schuster is with the Pats anymore. But yeah, he was a good wide receiver for Pittsburgh for a while. Another one, C.J. Stroud, prestigious pros and all that. But C.J. Stroud, he was named offensive rookie of the year in 2023 from the University of Ohio State. There you go. Alma Maters, Michael Pittman, Amon St. Brown, and Drake London, all from USC. I didn't know Amon St. Brown was a USC guy. Makes you wonder. Another prestige thing, any given Sunday, talking about week 2 when the Falcons beat the Packers, would be Jen Robinson. Joe Burrow, Joe Heisman from LSU, great Bengals quarterback. When he's healthy, he's practically the Bengals' best quarterback. You could say Carson Palmer. You can even see Ken Anderson or Boomer Esiason, but I think Joe Burrow basically is an icon. And the last card is a Jamal Lewis card about the Baltimore Ravens. He was a pretty good running back in 2000 when they had the when they won the Super Bowl. He was a two-headed workhorse alongside Priest Holmes in the Baltimore backfield from the University of Tennessee. All right, so those cards done and packed. Now we go to the Panini contenders. Let's get that. All right, so Panini contenders. Different company, and just looking at one card. They don't, well, they kind of do. They give the position. All right, first card is Justin Jefferson, pretty good wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. So, yeah, there's him. These are 2023 cards. He's chasing Minnesota's great wide receivers for best in history. I mean, Randy Moss is great. You got Anthony and Chris Carter, both great wide receivers. You have, who's that guy in Minnesota in the 1970s? Was it Paul Warfield? But that's not right. But anyway, Justin Jefferson. Next up is Bijan Robinson, a Panini card of him. Running back for the University of Atlanta. For the Atlanta Falcons. Pretty good player of his own account as a rookie. Bijan Robinson. Travis Etienne for the Jaguars. This was his second year. Pretty good player for the University of Clemson, but he's also a key member for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Clemson's star running back. I think the best Clemson running back of all time. And then Jacksonville's lucky to have him. Brock Purdy from Iowa State, but the quarterback for the Niners. He's been hurt. Former New England Project Mac Jones has come in. Purdy put up a 5-touchdown performance just this Monday night against the Colts to basically throw Indy in deep trouble for missing the playoffs and having the Niners in his playoff position. But yeah, Brock Purdy's been pretty good when he's been healthy. Patrick Surtain Jr. All that, he's a good guy, a good cornerback for the Broncos, and yeah, he's been pretty good. Derek Carr, former Raiders star, but now in New Orleans. All that, over 39,000 yards when he got it in this one. Derek Carr from Fresno State. The younger brother, David Carr, the first ever Houston Texans pick in a draft 2002. But yeah, Derek Carr was a good passer. Bryce Young for Carolina. This was, after his rookie thing and all that, he did what he could, but Carolina just couldn't make the playoffs. But yeah, Bryce Young for the University of Alabama. Good pivot, and he's the star pivot for Carolina now. Stephon Diggs for the Houston Texans. Was a Bills icon and all that. Yes, Stephon Diggs did well for the Texans, but then he went to the Pats, and my buddy Colin Cook probably would be pissed off. But yeah, Stephon Diggs, I think he was better as a Texan. But the Pats picked him up on free agency, so we got to take him. Russell Wilson in a Steelers outfit, which is so very, very wrong. Well, I mean, he was with the Broncos. Seattle didn't sign him, and then he went to Denver, and now as a free agent with the Steelers, he's been producing. And then now, where is he? He's in New York, right? I think he's with the Giants. Yeah, he's with the Giants, but he's been benched for Jackson freaking Dart. But yeah, Russell Wilson in a Seattle outfit was divine. Otherwise, he's nothing. University of Wisconsin. Myles Garrett, legendary Cleveland sacks master, if you will. First overall pick in the 2017 draft, and he hasn't let them down. He's been easily Cleveland's best defender since their comeback to the NFL in the 90s. Josie Jewell says he is a linebacker. Anyway, yeah, it was a Bronco. It says Bronco, but he signed with the Panthers. Next is a draft class card, 1989 draft class card, Neon Deion Sanders and Barry Sanders. The two Sanders, and it was big because the 89 draft, Barry and Deion both fell to their teams. Barry fell in the lap of the Lions, Deion to the Falcons, because the Packers decided after Troy Aikman went first overall to the Cowboys, Green Bay decided to pick up this offensive tackle who's Canadian from Oakville, Ontario, by the name of Tony Mandarich, who basically was a bust. His physique was steroid-induced, I think, because, he went to training camp a lot lighter and all that. Where's the start with? Okay, next is, the 2024 first-round pick for the Panthers, Xavier Legette, and wide receiver. Doesn't say what school he went to. I forget what school he went to. I would say Clemson, but I'm probably wrong. Round one. Two guys, round one, 2024 first round. Quinion Mitchell and Byron Murphy and all that. Why would they put two guys on the same card? Draft card. Draft class. New Orleans taking Spencer Rattler at pivot from the University of Southern Carolina. USC. The other USC, but Spencer Rattler. He's the star for the Saints now. Devontae Adams as a Jet. He was a Raiders icon. Now he went to the Jets. I think he's somewhere else. But yeah, Devontae Adams, I don't think is definitely is not a Jet. Will Levis at pivot for Tennessee. He had his rookie of the year. Will Levis from, I think, Kentucky. I would say Tennessee, but no. Will Levis went to the University of Kentucky, and then Tennessee decided to pick him up as a quarterback. Jordan Love from Utah State as the heir apparent for Aaron Rodgers. Rodgers decided not to be his mentor, so he left for the Jets. He wrote, a lot of love songs, yeah. He was a pretty good quarterback. He's been a pretty good quarterback for Green Bay, but he got injured last week against the Bears. And, no disrespect to Malik Willis, but, Jordan Love would have wrapped up the game for Green Bay last week against the Bears. Next, we have Jalen Hurts, Fly Eagles Fly, the pivot, the former Alabama and Oklahoma pivot to the Eagles. This is 2023 before, they won the Super Bowl. But yeah, Jalen Hurts with the Kelly Green shirt and all that. That's great. But yeah, he's been pretty good. Basically the best quarterback for Philly since one Donovan McNabb. Jamar Chase, a great wide receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. Is he the greatest Cincinnati Bengals wide receiver of all time? Well, Chad Ochocinco will think not, and Isaac Curtis, and even Chris Collinsworth. Tyreek Hill for the Dolphins, when they picked him up, he was supposed to help them out and all that. So anyway, yeah, so Tyreek Hill, great wide receiver for, I think, from A&M. Remember, supposed to be right. And finally, Kyler Murray. Kyler went to the Cardinals. Arizona had quarterback problems. They took the trouble to draft Josh Rosen from UCLA, and then they decided to draft Kyler from Oklahoma the next season. All right, so that's one packet of paninis down. Panini is a sandwich. Yes, I know. I'm not that dumb. All right. Next up is our cards. This one is George Karlaftis of the Kansas City Chiefs, a great sacks guy, 10.5 sacks in his second pro season. I think didn't his dad or uncle used to play for the Chiefs? I can't remember. Baker Mayfield in a Bucs outfit. Of course, Baker Mayfield pretty much trying to be the best Tampa Bay quarterback since Doug Williams. Tom Brady doesn't really count. He only played a few seasons for the Bucs and all that, but yeah. Baker Mayfield hooked from the University of Oklahoma. Of course, Mayfield played in that famous Rose Bowl in 2018 when it was Oklahoma, Georgia and the win for a trip to the national championship game in Atlanta. And unfortunately for Baker, his suitors lost to the three-headed running attack of the Georgia Bulldogs, including Sony Michel. Aiden Hutchinson, the defensive captain and part of some State Farm commercials. He's a pretty good player and all that. Aiden Hutchinson. Next is Breece Hall for the Jets. Pretty good running back. Yeah, so Breece Hall, a speedster, but playing for a crappy team like the Jets. DJ Moore, the hero of the Bears win last week against the Packers. This is his card. Yeah, I think he was he a Carolina Panther before a Chicago Bear and all that? Yeah, his first in Chicago. Yeah, Carolina traded him to Chicago for the first round pick. That was the first overall pick, which was Bryce Young. But yeah, DJ Moore has proven himself in Bears colors. And of course, he got that touchdown last Saturday against the Packers. Next up is Puka Nacua, great wide receiver for the Rams. In his rookie season, over 105 receptions. Only the fifth time a Ram had got 100 catches. Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Cooper Kupp, and now Nacua. One of the best in rookie history and all that. You know, the Rams really like him. I think he went to UCLA. Next is Bobby Wagner from Washington. Yeah, he was a Seattle player because you'll see Seattle on it. But yeah, he was a Super Bowl champion in Seattle. Now he's in Washington playing for a team that just, if Jaden Daniels is healthy, they're good. If he isn't healthy, they're scum. Say Flowers from the Ravens, a pretty good receiver in his own right. So yeah, you see Say Flowers in his jersey. Next is Harrison Butker, the kicker for the Kansas City Chiefs, who I think sat out because of a domestic violence thing or something. And yeah, he was a good kicker. Or no, am I thinking him or is it someone else? But yeah, Butker's a pretty good pretty good clutch kicker. One of the best clutch kickers of all time is Harrison Butker. And I'll attest to that. Next is Tyler Lockett for the Seattle Seahawks. Great wide receiver and all that. So Tyler Lockett doing his job. Next is Amari Cooper, who was a Raiders wide receiver, then the Browns, and now with the Bills and all that. You know, just doing his job and all that for the Bills and all that. Yeah, Amari Cooper was good from Alabama. Round one card of Brock Bowers and Terrion Arnold. Brock Bowers. Yeah, Brock Bowers from the University of Georgia, was it? Or Georgia. Yeah, from Georgia. A great tight end, and the Raiders needed him. Oh, there we go. There's a rookie stallion, Brock Bowers. Yeah, if the Raiders are good, he's good. Another first round, like draft class, 1995. Tony Baselli and Warren Sapp. Tony Baselli, the first draft pick ever by the Jaguars, because the Jaguars in 1995 would be an expansion team, unless like Carolina, but they picked Tony Baselli, a great tackle from UCLA, and he didn't Phil, he's the first Jacksonville Jaguar player to be in the Hall of Fame, and Warren Sapp, his immaturity with the University of Miami, of course, that the culture ruined him, and Tampa picked him up, and it worked out great for them. Draft class, Atlanta with Michael Penix Jr. from the University of Washington. Doing his job, Atlanta picked him 8th overall, which was funny because they signed Kirk Cousins to that massive free agent deal. And then they draft Penix as the quarterback. So you know something fishy's about to happen. George Kittle, like the Kittle, Sanford Kittle chips or something. But yeah, he's a pretty good wide receiver, tight end for the San Francisco 49ers, a fan favorite and all that. Chris Olave from the New Orleans Saints, good wide receiver and all that. He's done quite well for the Saints. And he's still with the Saints. Dalton Kincaid from Buffalo. He is a Canadian, actually. I learned that. So Dalton Kincaid has been a good tight end. So hopefully he can help the Buffalo Bills out in the long run. After all, I mean, Buffalo is close to the Canadian border. Next is Gardner Minshew for the Raiders. You know, he used to play for the Jaguars, where the fans loved him as Uncle Rico, and then the Colts had him for a little bit, and now he's a Raider. And I just dropped that card. Excuse me. Yeah, why am I dropping cards there? Yeah, Gardner Minshew, but he's not the main quarterback anymore. I think that's Crapola. Who is the Raiders' star quarterback? I don't know. And the funny thing is, the Raiders play the Jets this weekend, and the winner, well, technically the loser, will be in line for the number 1 draft pick. I'm actually hoping the Raiders lose because the Raiders really need that number 1 draft pick. Great. Is it the Oregon quarterback who is the number 1 prospect if he continues? Yeah, the Oregon quarterback is the number 1 draft prospect if he goes. He still has one more season. Rachaad White for Tampa Bay. Good running back and all that. See his card. Christian Watson for the Brat Pack. And wide receiver from, I think he went from A&M. But yeah, when he catches the ball, he's very happy. And finally, Aaron Rodgers in a Jets jersey. Packer fans will not be happy about it because as funny as this was, yeah, he was 0 for, yeah. See his stats for the Jets? 0 for 1. Well, that was because on opening night against the Bills in 2023, Aaron Rodgers injured himself. So practically he was out by the first quarter, and the Jets had a terrible season and all that. You know, he's elite and all that. The Jets didn't want him, so he went to Pittsburgh. He's had a good season with Pittsburgh so far. Pittsburgh has a winning record. And the last time Pittsburgh did not have a winning record, 2003. Not even the Pats can claim that. Not even the Joe Montana era Niners can call it. Not even the Tom Landry Cowboys can claim that. Not even the Steelers of the 1970s can claim that. 22 straight years without missing a beat. So yeah, that's amazing. And one more pack to go for football cards. All that. So yeah, I'm not going to repeat the cards for you. I've done pretty good for myself that I don't have 2 cards of the same person. I know it's like 500 people, but anyway. All right. First up is, turn this around, Jared Goff for the Detroit Lions. Pretty good quarterback, over 30,000 yards and all that. So yeah, Goff in one of the biggest quarterback for quarterback trades in NFL history, being traded from the Rams to the Lions for the one of Matthew Stafford, who was the former number 1 pick of the Lions in 2008. Was it 2009? 2009 technically, but yeah, quarterback for quarterback, and Stafford won a Super Bowl, and Detroit fans are groaning, I bet. Next up is Daniel Jones in a Giants jersey. They picked him up from the University of Duke. And a lot of people were not so sure about a quarterback from Duke. I mean, the only good quarterbacks from Duke in history are Sonny Jurgensen and I can't remember who else. There was another good Duke quarterback. I would say Roman Gabriel, but he went to NC State. But yeah, that's Daniel Jones in a Giants jersey. 2 years later, he's in a Colts jersey and he's injured, and the Colts aren't going nowhere fast. The Giants gave up on him. Adam Thielen, former Vikings wide receiver, now Panther. That 10th NFL season. Thielen's trying to help Carolina out. Next is Josh Palmer, Canadian. Good wide receiver when he has to be. All that, yeah, Josh Palmer from the University. I can't remember what school, but yeah, Chargers part of Keenan Allen, and so they're giving Josh Palmer some more catches and all that. That's great for the Canadian. Stephon Diggs, that's my first duplicate. Russell Wilson, duplicate. Myles Garrett, yep, duplicate. Daniel Jones, duplicate. Adam Thielen, duplicate within the same pack. Josh Palmer, good grief. Am I going to get more? Anyone new? Here we go. Cortland Sutton for the Bronchies as a wide receiver. Pretty good and all that. So yeah, Cortland Sutton for the Broncos. Draft class. Ricky Pearsall for San Francisco. Is he a quarterback? What's his position? He's a cornerback. But it doesn't say what position he is. Ricky Pearsall. I don't think he's a quarterback. Ricky, what's his name? Pearsall? Pear. There you go. Ricky Pearsall. Oh yeah, that's right. He was the one who was shot, wasn't he? He played for Arizona State. He was a wide receiver. And he was shot in the chest during a botched robbery over his Rolex watch, August 2024. But he came back healthy. Okay, that's right. That's the guy. And he's on this card with Xavier Leggett. And then Jonathan Brooks, Carolina Panthers patient runner when he was drafted by the Panthers. All that, although Chuba Hubbard has him beat. And then draft class 2005, DeMarcus Ware and Aaron Rodgers. Arguably the top two players from that draft class. DeMarcus Ware, good player for Texas. For the Cowboys. And Aaron Rodgers, a lot of people were shocked that A-Rod actually dropped heavily in the draft of 2005. There were a few quarterbacks ahead of him that were taken, but surprised that the Packers at number 24 took him. It worked out. He was going to be basically the heir apparent to Brett Favre, and it worked. Amari Cooper, duplicate. Jalen Waddle, duplicate. There we go. Kirk Cousins for the Falcons. Yeah, he was with the Vikings, helping them with a dream season in 2023. 12 years of experience with Washington from the University of Michigan State. Yeah, Cousins was great for Minnesota. And then they decided to draft Michael Penix. A lot of people were like, they should not draft a quarterback if they're going to spend all this free agent money on Kirk Cousins. And, the free agent market was in March. Evan Ingram for the Jaguars. I think he played for didn't he play for the Giants or something? I can't remember, but yeah. Pretty good a tight end for the Jags. JD9 will be happy with that. Christian McCaffrey, the star for the San Francisco 49ers. When he's healthy, he's good. That's practically what you got. And all that. That's what Christian McCaffrey is all about. Great running back for the Niners. I think he's with Carolina or something. Or did he come from Carolina? I think he came from Carolina to San Francisco. Yeah, I think he played for the Panthers. Then he went to the Niners. Christian McCaffrey, the star of the 2016 Rose Bowl against Iowa, in which, when he was Stanford, he got a hitch pass from Kevin Hogan, and then he ran it. Within 14 seconds, Stanford had a touchdown. Cortland Sutton and Juicy Jewel. So, a few more duplicates. Well, that's all I've got. Those are all the football cards I managed to finagle in so many years. of doing it. So, yeah, of course, if you want to know that coming up, it's probably an hour and a bit, we'll be releasing the Cutter Top 10 Christmas episodes and all that, the top 10 Christmas movies, the top 10 Christmas songs, and the top 10 Christmas Simpsons episodes and all that. Probably gonna, well, ASG Golf, I gotta release that today. Not don't necessarily have anything else on my mind to release, especially, well, the Cutter Degrassi Christmas episode. I guess I could hold it on Christmas Day or something, maybe. Uh, yeah, I'll upload that maybe at 8 or 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll upload that, and then I'll just make sure that the boxing video is created on Christmas Day. It'll probably go out like at 8 o'clock or something like that. Depends on when I get back from my mom's for Christmas and all that. So yeah, that is happening. PC Replay Baseball will start the Tournament of Champions in January, and then we'll start doing the honorable season. One team from each franchise, and then we'll have 32 teams overall. That will be in concurrence with Out of the Park Baseball, which will start in April. New tennis starts in March, so the Tennis Legends Tour starts in March. Golf again, back on New Year's Day. The Tournament Champions. Al Red Sox fan having a thing next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to decide who's the first golfer to get into one of those assigned new tours. Let's see. Basketball. Not really thinking about basketball. Once above the rim basketball does something, I might just do like a tournament of champions for like college basketball. Like have all the champions take on each other in a tournament, random tournament, and all that I have in my possession, of course. Football, of course, 2nd and 10 will be back with more NFL on Sunday. The NFL tournament round of 32 on Sunday. College football will be technically taking a break on Saturday. I know I've had college football every Saturday since week 1 in August, like late August. But because the quarterfinals are going to be on New Year's Day, then New Year's Day I got to tape that. For game thingy-mabobby. Hockey will be back to being uploaded soon. All that. So yeah, I've got a few projects ahead of me that I got to work on and probably do some top 10 episodes. And a lot of other things too. So anyway, thanks for watching, even though nobody watched me live. I mean, you'll catch me archived. I mean, I'm not going to be stupid. I do need to cut my hair a bit. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want YouTube getting pathetic. Yeah, so I'm just going to try to, trim my hair tomorrow morning and then trim my beard so it doesn't look that bad. So anyway, thanks for watching. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.